You guys to know I'm recording this entire thing in audio format. You're going to get that entire recording back. It's going to stay on my chest all night long because I'm going to use my own separate spirit box, and that way you get to hear the stories all over again, the spirit box that I'm going to use because it doesn't record, and any kind of EVPs that are going to come through. It's electronic voice phenomenon, stuff we can't hear with the naked ears. So do you join her when she goes ghost hunting?
No.
Oh, so I am speaking Greek. It's a good thing I'm explaining. All right, so thermal imaging. You all see me in that camera?
Yeah.
I should be orange, red, and yellow.
Yeah.
So everything around me is blue and black. This is going to fluctuate based on whatever's inside the screen. So if you take me out of it, the tree above me should now be orange, red, and yellow. So it's going to fluctuate based on those colors. So what are we looking for in here? We're looking for the blue spots to start moving on their own. It's set up to black, cold, white, hot. So anything black on here is going to be the coldest thing that we find. Now if something blue starts moving, obviously we have, especially if it goes moving across my face over a very warm area, we definitely have something going on there as well. It is also recording audio, so we have another point of reference for EVPs. So I usually hand this off to a skeptic so we can hear his comments all night long. So your finger is pretty near the lens. It's down here in your bottom left-hand corner. Do you see the red square on there?
Yes.
That means it's recording. So if it turns to a circle, you're going to be the jerk, and I have to spend time splicing more than one video together, and everybody gets a delay in the result of their tour. So the key there is to try to keep it a square. So, and we're going to be calling him skeptic all night long, just so everybody knows. So that's why you call yourself out.
That's it.
All right. Because you're so used to this, I'm actually going to give you one of the spirit boxes. This one is the SB7. Do you know which one you use?
Not that.
Not this one. Which one do you use?
The actual
Like 15 different models.
What do
Is
I
it
do with
obvious?
this?
Alright, so this one
My red.
is this has a giant speaker attached to the top of it. And this is a new speaker, so we're still kind of testing it out. We just started using this one last night. The last one sucked. You couldn't hear anything on it. So we upgraded it and bought a much better speaker, and it is Velcro to it. So what is a spirit box? So for those of you that don't know, this is just a radio sweeper. So it's sweeping through all of the FM radio stations. And if you watch those TV shows, it's that very annoying static sound that you hear that comes through. I have this one set a little bit slower. The method that I use is I want the radio chatter. I want you to tell me what the DJs, the song lyrics, and the commercials are telling you. Because at times, it'll give us a message. So, again, we have like a 50-50 shot of it actually meaning something to the location of where we are. So, this one, it's already set to a specific sweep rate at 250 milliseconds. The on and off button is right here. So all you have to do is literally turn that on, and then the volume, you toggle it. You have to keep tapping until you do. Pretty simple. So obviously when I'm talking and telling stories, you want to keep it down. But obviously when I say spirit box is up, that's all you use. And I normally put 2 people on that, then I kind of see how you guys know you seem drunk, so I might actually pull out the lasers tonight. So lasers can get Nick in a lot of trouble. She's like, wait a minute, I'm a little tipsy. So
No, I'm excited.
let's go back to the thermal imaging for a second. So I do want us to debunk whatever skeptic finds. Let's give him a little bit of credibility, and let's make sure what he sees is legit. So Jenny Lee. I'll get it. So I talk to 200 people a week, guys. It's really hard to keep track of names. We all know what this guy is, right? So this is the surface temperature. We've all been getting our temperature taken for COVID. It's only going to give us the temperature of where the red dot touches. So when it touches, I have no idea what the temperature is in between. That's where this guy comes into play. So let's say Mr. Skeptic over here. Well, we'll give him a better title. Captain Skeptic says, hey Nick, there's a blue spot on that wall. I can't figure it out. Everything around it is orange and red, and it is kind of swirling and moving around a little bit. So I'm going to test the wall and make sure it's the same temperature all the way across. When it is, I now know that the blue spot is in between Captain and the wall. So I'm going to use the probe on this guy to try to find where that cold spot is, try to debunk it, make sure it's not an air conditioner blowing out the building, or whatever the case might be. So this is more of your active tool that you're going to be using all night. We pull this guy out when we really have to find something further.
Okay.
The first area we're going to go to, I'm getting to the all yet. I got a Santa Claus bag here. It just keeps going. So there's all kinds of tools and gizmos. But the first place we're going to go, London and I are going to work with you guys one-on-one. The place is haunted, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't have a long history. So it gives us an opportunity to show you what your devices are actually capable of, and then we'll actually see what's actually going on with the spirit boxes. So, what's next? This spirit box is amazing. This is my favorite, sorry. I'm not saying you got duped, but you actually have something where this is going to record the entire radio sweep for us, which is really nice. What's that?
That's perfect.
Yeah, and what's so great about it is it records even when it's on mute. So it's going to record at a nice even level, and you guys are going to get the full audio back. So even if they don't hear anything, it's okay. I'm going to go to our hotspots in the morning, and I'm going to listen again, and then I'm going to pass it off to you guys. Again, I spend about 2 hours on your data in the morning. You're going to be recording about 8 hours total between the video and the audios and all that other stuff. I don't cover all of it. So again, I give you some examples, things I heard. This is what I came up with, so forth and so on. So I'm going to set this guy up to record and show you how to use it. It's really simple. It just has one little turnstile button.
You know how that guy works?
Hmm?
You know how that thing works?
So like this?
Get it to turn on.
Turn.
So this one literally has one, there's a little turnstile.
92.8.
You're a
right
little
there at the
cold.
top. You can feel it.
I'm a little cold. Uh-oh.
That's it.
Okay. If it stops somewhere, is that going to be a...
So you're really listening for those DJs and song lyrics. If you can make something out and it's a phrase, even if it makes no sense to you at this point, like it might say stop sign.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense to us right now. There's no stop sign right here. But if you hear stop sign, it might make sense on something else.
Okay.
So,
It doesn't.
what?
Stop sign doesn't make sense.
You never know. Actually, it does. Pass through cafe.
Oh.
All right, so EMF meters. This one thinks she knows everything. She's 14. EMF meters. See these on your shows as well? This is our first indication that something is actually happening, possibly with one of the other gadgets. They don't tell you how this thing works. It measures 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. Okay, super easy to use. You don't have to do anything. The first one, let's go ahead and cut that off because it's already recording for us anyway. So the first one's natural. It comes from the earth. That's why it's green. Okay, this doesn't mean anything right now. The second thing that it's going to measure are man-made objects. So your cell phones, parking meters, wiring. It's going to make it go into a pulse. Okay, we don't want that either. We want this thing to light up like a Christmas tree. We want it to go all over the place where I can't make sense of what it's actually doing, nor if I can't debunk it right away. So when this thing goes crazy, you need to actually let us know. It doesn't rattle, it doesn't make any noise. You literally have to watch it and let us know what's happening. I think you're the last one that doesn't have anything. So, what else do I have here? Lasers and a camera. Let's go to the camera.
Does that mean I get lasers?
We'll demonstrate the lasers. How about that? Alright,
You
very
were
simple.
excited to use those lasers, weren't you?
I normally don't hand them to teenagers, but she knows the rules on the lasers. The lasers in Charleston can get Nick in handcuffs. That's how strong these lasers are.
We don't want that.
Yeah, but she knows the rules. So for you, none of y'all can be in the pictures. There's no flash because I don't need any false positives. It's a simple point and shoot. I also don't give this to teenagers because they don't know what the hell it is. So, except for this one,
What is that?
right? So I have to show them how to use it, and then when I do show them how to use it, I then have 500 pictures the next morning to try to analyze. So excuse us. So again, simple point and shoot. I actually am going to give London one of the lasers, and you guys will kind of work together. So when it shuts off, and I'll show off some. None of you guys are from here, right?
Nope.
No. So I'll show off some touristy areas too. So I'm not offended by it if you guys want to whip out your phones and take other pictures, because we're going to actually hit some really pretty spots. Some of it not so pretty. They're going to be empty parking lots, but there's a reason for that. So London is going to get a laser. A laser. Don't get too excited. You're not crossing the streams.
Oh, you gotta laugh.
I did get it. Dad's a funny guy.
Sometimes. Depends on the crowd.
Thanks.
Oh, nope. They're all normal people.
So I normally joke, what is this?
The neuralizer for Men in Black.
And where do they need to stare?
Right there.
She knows all my jokes. Can you guys tell? So what this guy will actually do is help us see things we can't see with the naked eye. Okay, so when London's using this and she knows all the areas to use it in, it's going to be something that's going to go through very, very quickly, and you're going to be taking snapshots through the laser, where we technically can't see anything. So in the event London misses something, we actually have it on a picture. So you're not going to be taking pictures down, it's more through it. But again, I'm going to give you some other touristy areas and weird spots to go through to kind of show you. But again, this thing is amazing, but it will shoot all the way up East Bay Street. So London knows the rules on this guy, so that goes to you. So guys, I'm going to tell you the same story as I tell every night. I just can't control what activity is going to happen. Okay, so every tour is different. Some of them are themed. It just depends on what comes up out of real time and what I find the next morning. So your data is going to be obviously the video. It's going to be the recording from the spirit box, the regular audio, and then I'm going to use a few things on my phone that are going to kind of enhance everything. So let me mask up because I can show you guys what I'm using. If I put the right thumb on the screen, that would be great. Right? So I'm going to use a backup EMF in case Kitty's goes down. In case the battery drains, I have a backup that we need in a pinch. So the second thing I'm going to use is a spirit box that's going to give us a list of words right here in the center of the screen. So the weird thing about this is that it's going to save them in a list for us. Okay, so the last tour had 48 entries, which is kind of light. I'm going to clear them out and start you guys off fresh, but it's going to give us a random word. 80% of things that come up on this app don't mean a damn thing. It's all BS. It's meant to be a game and a hoax. But the things that we do find, for example, when I get a name that's very specific to that location, I'm going to give you the verifiable link to show you guys where I got that information from. So if we get the number 22 and we're at the Pinckney Mansion lot, that makes sense because Eliza Pinckney was born on December 22nd and also got married at the age of 22. Does that make sense to you guys now, how I kind of look at that? Yeah. So I got the word static, which means one of the spirit boxes is probably doing something. The second thing I'm going to use is a reverse spirit box. So a reverse spirit box on this guy, I debunked it as well. This is literally a man and a woman saying words at random. Oh, we got to sit. I'm going to set hers up to record. Remember how to do that? So, yeah, she accidentally shut it off. So when you shut it off, it's okay. I'll set it up. It's on again. The button you clicked over is the power button. Alright, so the reverse spirit box, literally a man and a woman saying random words, and then they flip the audio backwards. I have no idea how long the loop is, but I tested it for over an hour because I actually analyze EVPs when I'm getting them. So I was able to tell, like, hey, this is not what it says it is, but it still comes through with really good stuff. So I'm going to turn it up just so you guys can get the gist of what it sounds like, because this is how I communicate and what you're going to hear on your audio. So it's going to sound like gibberish. So, again, complete gibberish. You can hear it over the traffic. Again, just sounds like garbage. So, here's one of the EVPs I caught from that, and I do show it off because it is very strong. And it made complete sense. So let me bring that up for you guys and I'll play it for you just like I did down the line again. Baked beans breakfast. That's me repeating it. Baked beans breakfast. Exactly.
It's like paranormal activity. Crazy. Did I tell you that Tara's mom
Okay, so here's what happened. So your spirit box told me, I'll fix you. Baked beans breakfast, and then that digital word list gave me the word tea, as in drinking tea, all within 2.5 minutes of each other. I'll fix you baked beans breakfast and tea. That would be a breakfast in England. They actually eat baked beans for breakfast. I didn't know that at the time, but that's how I had to collaborate everything the next morning. Does that kind of make sense to how I look at this the next day? Perfect. All right, so I'm going to stop that so I don't have to play it again. So we start here for a reason, guys. This place is haunted. This used to be called Big John's. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything set back up again. Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. Now, he used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets that came over from the Citadel were of age or not. If not, cut them off. One night, 2 guys came in. He knows they're not of age. Tells the bartender to cut them off. You guys are looking at each other like, you know the story? You know the guys that... like, you guys don't look that old to be hanging out with the dudes from the 70s. So, anyway, the 2 guys get angry. They leave. They come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John gets in a big wrestling match with them. Shots were fired. John gets shot in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall. The bullet hole is what holds the paranormal activity in this place. They say people that sit in the front of the bar start to not feel well. A little queasiness, headaches, those kind of things. I bring this story up on purpose. Anybody's not feeling well, I need to know. It's a big deal. Somebody's had more than one person pass out on a nice cool night like this from too much paranormal activity. So, if anybody's starting to feel the slightest bit of headache, speak up to the other person in your party. And the first time it happened, I was in CPR class the next day. Like, it's that big of a deal to me. Luckily, I've had nurses on the group every single time, but I didn't have to use that CPR training, but that's how that went down. So, let's move on to happier things about not us getting sick. The mantle above your heads also wraps around the front of the building. We had a big earthquake here in 1868. Well, it's a big one for us because we don't get earthquakes. So, it was a 7 point something on the Richter. But anyway, a piece of the mantle fell off and struck somebody in the head and killed them. Apparently, this is where the first death occurred from that earthquake. The previous owner of this bar is said to have seen some shadows out here after closing. So that would be normally around the 3 o'clock hour, which is usually common for seeing darker things. So, you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. You guys tired of hearing me talk yet?
No.
Good, because we got another hour or so of this. And I loved it. You're supposed to be watching out.
Real deal ghost hunters.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh, you guys are going to keep up with me all night. Awesome. Another reason why I like the smaller groups. Why, did we get blips already?
Oh, yeah. It's
Good.
like 3 different colors.
Good, 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 good. All right, let's cut the spirit boxes so I can kind of give you the gist of what's going on in here. Oh, good. We're going to go over that in a second. This is the carriage, or the barn where they keep the horses for your carriage rides, okay? The ponies are still in there. So, I'm sorry, Jenny Lee, I'll get it. I promise I will remember you guys. It's a small group. You have the only laser besides London.
Okay.
They cannot go in those windows. You will spook the horses.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the same red barn where they kept the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So if that dates it for you, we're talking 1860s to 1920s. So I want you guys to also picture, I'm going to give you little pieces of history along the way too that don't really deal with paranormal stuff, but just fun little facts. So picture the peninsula of Charleston in your heads right now. It was much skinnier during the Revolutionary War. The water is behind us this way. Ship rolls up, shoots a cannon, lands at that stop sign over there. No deaths, no tragedies, but it was a neighborhood. And there is no paranormal activity over there, but it was one of those weird little pieces that I was like, I'm going to throw that on the tour just to keep my skeptics at bay. No offense to you. Over there. So that way you guys get really cool stories, at least at the very minimum.
Yeah.
So, the word cross, we were talking about the crossroads over there.
You didn't say nugget.
Yeah, I didn't say nugget. So last night, guys, she's got to make fun of the English guy.
Yep.
So I like the word nugget of history. It's a nice phrase to say. It rolls off the tongue. So last night, I think I said nugget of history like 4 times, and she chuckled every time. Because you guys seen the Baby Yoda with the chicky nuggies? Yeah. I'm sure that's what's going through her brain right now. So again, every time I say nuggie of history, that's what she's probably thinking of. So love having my teenage daughter come along ghost hunting with me. It's wonderful. She keeps things light. There's a cat. Very interesting. Cool.
It wasn't a black cat. Red skirts.
What about black cats? By the way, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
So we're going to talk about these devices and how to use them in this lot. London and I are going to bounce around with you guys. Let's start with spirit boxes. So your spirit boxes, the way that I use them and the most effective way that I have found is it's not going straight after who killed who and provoking and making people angry. These used to be people. We're going to respect them as such. I've had people come on this tour and they're literally, why did you kill? Or what's your reason for doing this or whatever. It's like you don't know anything. Just ask the questions that you think you should be asking that are not provoking. So we're going to start off with something simple. I know you're used to listening to your spirit box, but we are going to start off with things like what color is the barn? So again, if you don't get an answer, you're literally listening for like 30 seconds. At that point, if you still don't have an answer, ask the same question again. It's that simple. What color is the barn? Or can you tell me what color the barn is? Just simply rephrase it. I mean, you just might be learning different tactics at this point. If you don't get an answer after maybe 3-4 tries, try a different question that you already know the answer to. And treat them like a human. Okay, you don't want to tell me what color the barn is? Tell me what's inside the barn. At that point, we're not just listening for a simple word of red. Excuse me. It could be draft, because those are draft horses in there. It could be delivery, because they used to deliver milk. It could be horses. It could be animals. It could be mane, because horses have manes. It could be any of those things. Anything relating to a horse is where I'm looking for. So, and again, so I want you all to keep in mind too, when we're asking those questions, the answers can go anywhere. We literally have 6 pieces of communication going right now. We have 4 spirit boxes, 2 on mine and 2 of yours. Audio there and audio here. Well, sorry. Audio here. So if you ask what color is the barn, we might get the color red on any of those other devices. There'll be places we go where I'm asking questions that I didn't tell you about and things I already know about the place. So if you turn around and say, what's the blue brick? I'm just kidding, there is no blue brick. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, I asked Charles what his favorite color was in the house, and he said the blue brick. So that would make sense. Again, I'll give you the verifiable evidence to show you where I get my data from. So, and it's not Wikipedia most times, unless I just need a date. So, but at any rate, so you guys are literally going to be walking around this lot. We're going to stay within the confines here. Pictures, definitely no vehicles can be in pictures, and any people, I just crop them out. So if we get people in those pictures, then we would just crop them out. We are going to be watching Kitty's EMF to kind of see where the hot spots are. With you guys are literally just going to be taking a lap around this place, learning about thermodynamics. If we catch something, super awesome. But you have metal, asphalt, wood, brick, vehicles, rubber, all kinds of things in here to see how it fluctuates. Okay. I'm going to work with you guys first specifically because you have a laser and there's a lot more that goes into that, and you guys will hear that conversation when you watch your video. But London, if you want to go with these 2 ladies, I have a gut feeling that they kind of already know what they're doing, and then we're going to kind of separate off a little bit, just stay within the confines of here. Questions, comments, concerns? Is this what you guys thought you signed up for?
Yeah, that's cool.
I had no idea.
I get some slow hit nods, which is all right. We don't want to see ghosts, but we're going to find them.
You know, I thought we were going to be in a cemetery, and so I was nervous.
You're
I'm happy
walking
that we're
through
not.
one.
Oh, okay.
Charleston has had enough death, fire, tragedy, war, you name it. We are walking on cemetery throughout here. And if you were dead, would you be hanging out where you're buried? Probably not. That's my guess. We're going to places that people thought of their homes, where they had happy places, or where their tragedy happened. So that's kind of like, I don't get much activity in cemeteries. The only one here in Charleston that I do is Magnolia. So if you have an opportunity to take that tour, I will promote my competitor on that one. It's a fantastic ride through there and learning about our history. Not to mention the amount of activity that I get from my tools that you guys are using. It's a great place to be. It's acres and acres and acres. It goes on forever. So, but again, you're walking through a cemetery. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on my soapbox there, but I get asked that a lot. It's called Stories in a Cemetery. What cemetery are we going to? Well, we're not. So, Charleston. It's all one big cemetery. All right, so I'm going to work with them. Go ahead and get your spirit box up and running. Start asking, you know how to go through your questions. London, show them what's going on with EMF and help us out of the pump and with the spirit box, because they're going to be kind of staying together as a team, I think. So for you guys, let's get you guys going on what theories I have about this. So your particular laser should be about, I'm trying to remember, between like 3 to 6 degrees off of what his crosshairs say on the screen.
Okay.
So for example, I want you to put your red dot on the wall, and then let's see what temperature you get.
Go ahead, Beth.
78.8.
So you should say about 72, 73?
I'm at
76.
76.2 and his is 78.
Okay, so it's really not that far off tonight.
Yeah.
All right, so in the event yours starts to drop below what hers says, then we obviously have something in between it. Because hers is only going to read the flat surface. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then that's when we're going to pull out the yellow one and say, what's going on here? So if you went down to 72 or 69 degrees, I'm going to get super excited and say, we got something going on here.
Okay.
So I am going to show you a quick video of what I caught a few weeks ago of kind of what you would be looking for. Yeah, I posted it to Facebook because it was amazing. So, stories in the cemetery. Sorry, I usually have this up and ready. Videos. So what we're looking at here is we're going to see two living people walking past that orange wall. See the two heads?
Mm-hmm.
So I put that in there as a point of reference so I can start showing this off. And you're going to see, oh, it just went by. You're going to see two black heads going the opposite way because that's the coldest area. 1, 2. Did you see them?
Mm-hmm.
What?
And again, so what I normally try to do, notice there's always a person in the frame. So I train you guys to always try to keep a person in the frame because this way you know where your hottest point is and everything else will kind of show up in different colors. So for example, shoot the wall for a second. So get that up and steady, like everything's orange and red, right?
Yeah.
Watch what happens when I get in the picture. See how
Yeah.
everything fluctuated?
Yeah.
You get more color, you get to see more. You get to see the temperature differences. Now that's also going to give you some white lines. This thing doesn't see in 3D. We do. So it gives you white lines of outlines and sometimes they're off. So for me, my white outline might be right here. It's not a ghost hanging out there, it's just what it thinks my outline is based on the temperature around me because my skin radiates a little bit, the different types of heat. It's a nice cool night, so thanks for picking a cool night.
Yeah.
But that's how it's going to look throughout the night.
Okay.
I ask you to hold it horizontal, it goes to YouTube. So that way we're not fluctuating it back and forth and you hold it horizontal all night, nice slow movements when we're in areas. In between, like we are gonna walk like 4 blocks to go to another haunted area. Not after this one, but after the next one. Keep up with us, that's fine. I'm not gonna ask you to walk slow when we're just going in between, but you never know what we're gonna catch in the middle of things. So just kind of hold it as steady as you can and keep going.
Okay.
But in here, shoot as many red dots as you want.
Okay.
They just can't go in the windows over there. Tell me what weird stuff you guys come up with.
And then how do I do this one?
Okay, so when we need to put this one on, there's a power button right there.
Yeah.
Just hit the power button.
And just hit the power button?
Yep, and it'll
Okay.
light right back up. Go ahead and turn it on.
I think it's already on.
So yeah, you shut it off and then you turn it back on. Yeah, don't hit any of those because then you'll change it to
Okay.
Fahrenheit and Celsius. So do you have a Fahrenheit?
There's
The
76,
the bottom is
Yeah.
your temperature. The top is humidity. Now there
Okay.
is a whole scientific thing with paranormal on humidity, but we don't get into that. I try to keep
Okay.
it simple, let you guys have some fun. You're learning stuff as it is. I don't need to
Okay.
throw in what Gauss meters are and all that other
Do I have to
stuff.
like point it anywhere? Or?
Nope. So this is where it measures. It's measuring right here.
Okay.
So wherever you put that, like if you put it up against your skin, it's going to measure your skin.
Okay.
But we want that ambient temperature. Oh, it's telling me to stay. This thing's giving me all kinds of stuff. 9. So how many of us are there? So there's 6 of you, 7, 8. So it's off. Okay. Sorry. Numbers usually don't lie.
Okay.
So I usually get teammates from Big John here. So whenever I get a number or a name, 9 times out of 10 it's related to Big John and somebody he played with. And I'm not a football guy. I had to look this shit up. So I actually had Tom Landry here one night.
What?
Yeah. So obviously you're a football guy.
Yeah.
You know who that is.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh.
The name Tom came up on like 3 different spirit boxes, and then I got a number. I looked up the number, and the name Tom connected. It was his number of when he played with Big John in 1948.
Wow.
I had no idea. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Tom Landry must be big to somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody's a fan. Oh, we also had the word cowboy. So that's how I tied it all together.
Yeah.
So again, it was kind of like, okay, I'm not a sports guy. It doesn't excite me that much, but at least it's a connection. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead and make your
Okay.
laps, and you guys are going to learn a lot
Sounds good.
tonight.
All right.
Alright,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what we're doing.
Just
Still don't really know.
walking around, like around, I guess.
Like the tire?
Yeah, go slow.
The tire.
The rubber. 75 degrees.
Yeah.
Where's the car on? Here, hold it like up so we can see like by the. I don't know, but why did the car go on?
I don't know.
I don't believe that.
Oh, that guy.
Oh. Nope, not that guy.
Maybe it's his car.
Here, go this way.
No.
There you go.
No, let's go to the door. Still not 100% sure. Are you supposed to be shooting and I shoot what
No,
you're
I think
shooting?
you're supposed to, well, I'm just supposed to like see what the different temperature of things are.
Like that. Do that wall. Or the
The door?
left. The pole.
The pole. Okay, the pole.
81.
78.
Yeah. Through the door. Somebody in the door. 80.
76.
Yeah. Close. Look at all those
You want me to be in
spots.
front of you? So you can see the difference?
What are all those spots on it though? Shoot the flowers or the bushes.
Like the leaf is 75.
Yeah. Okay, we're 3 degrees off. Shoot the car window at the top. The mirror. Yeah.
78 degrees.
We're exactly the same.
Or 74, sorry, 74. I was looking at yours. I gotta be careful not to put this in the...
And the windows.
window.
Oh, the lights just went out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Alright. So if we heard anything, London give you guys a good gist of how this stuff works.
So the question is, where's the bullet hole in the back of it?
Yeah. Where is the bullet hole?
Your thing doesn't give you answer. What's down there?
Shoot it.
Well, the grate is 76. And then down there, the ground is 77.
The ground is more than that.
Alright,
Ground
guys,
is hot.
everybody gathered up this way. Alright, so we did get a couple of things on the spirit boxes. So why don't you tell us what you found on the spirit box?
We asked what color the barn is. They said blue, maybe green. We got the name Ian. We also got the number 95.
So those are things for me to look up based on Big John's teammates. Now, the color blue, and London can attest for this, when you ask what color the barn is over here, a lot of times we'll get the color red, but lately it seems like we're getting the color blue, which makes sense to our next location, which will make sense once I tell you the story of why the color blue makes more sense. Things do bleed a little bit, so it's a matter of we're not going to always get just the one person in this spot or that spot. They will sometimes, especially if we're close by, it will bleed over a little bit. And sometimes we get an answer later after we left the place that we were asking questions as well. Because again, they're trying to come up with that energy to try to muster up what to tell us. That's why I say ask the same question several times. So I also got the word, or the number 9. So that's, numbers and names usually don't lie. I can usually tie that to something. So I'm going to look up the number 9, the name Evan and Ian, because it could have been either way, and the number 95. So we'll see what comes up on Big John and his teammates. You were going to say something? You look like you got sparkle in your eye.
Nope.
You guys ready to go learn some history?
Yeah.
Did you guys see anything weird on yours? Sorry.
No.
No.
We're just messing around.
No.
And then Rhonda introduced herself. Go ahead.
Yeah, I asked a bunch of questions and I didn't really hear anything back, but then I just started. I'm like, my name's Rhonda. I'm here to talk to you. You know, like, how are you or whatever. And he said, I know. I heard, like, I know that or I know something like that.
And what's nice about hers is that it's recording, so I can go back and verify that.
Right.
And it doesn't record any of us. It only records the radio speed. So again, that's why I bounce around so I can get the audio marker here, so I know what timestamp to listen to on the different recordings. So let's go.
So if there's a big, hold on one second.
Yeah.
If there's a big difference in temperature, what does that mean something? The only thing I see is inside that crate.
So again, that's underground. It's going to be much cooler.
Okay.
So that's a sewer line. So that's another reason why I like to come here, is because there's no electrical lines for Kitty's EMF to go off. So again, there's one box over there, but if she's getting reds over here, there's no way that that's coming from there. It's coming from somewhere else. We also have another little weird box hanging off the side of the barn. And if you get close to the barn, there are wiring and things like that inside, so we're going to debunk that pretty quickly. But out here in the open, I mean, there's not even wires above us to be emanating that much EMF to make that thing go off. So we are working on getting a little more advanced EMF meter where it actually separates the different types of EMF. So we'll have paranormal show up only, so that way we don't have to try to debunk anything. So it just saves a lot of time. So that's called a tri-field meter. So I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but it's an interesting little tool. So,
All right.
good stuff. Good question.
I can't hold your hand.
So,
The tree?
in here, yeah, another parking lot. It's so pretty in here. So that's the cool thing about this tour, is like all your other tours want to take you to show you stuff. I'm taking you guys to go buying stuff. That's the difference here. You're already getting craziness. That's awesome. So this is home to the Eliza and Charles Pinckney mansion site. So the mansion would have been in the front. Eliza's garden would have been lined up with that first tree over there behind the Five Church restaurant all the way back, and then I'm standing where the slave quarters or servant quarters would have been. Sometimes I get corrected with the word servant. So who the heck were they? They had a son named Charles and a nephew named Charles, and the son and the nephew signed our Constitution. So pretty big deal. It's politics, it's 2020, I don't want to talk about it. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about Eliza. Eliza's a lot more interesting anyway, in my opinion. So Eliza got married. Oh, by the way, this is Baked Beans Breakfast. This is where this all occurred. This is also where the video occurred that I showed you guys earlier. So Eliza got married to Charles to stay here in the United States. Her dad thought he was dying over in England, and she didn't want to go home. He wanted all the kids home so he could see him one last time, but he didn't die. So Eliza married Charles to stay here and become a citizen. That's really going nuts, so it's good. So anyway, Eliza got married, everything's going well, Dad got better, he starts sending gifts over from England. Now Eliza, I told you her garden was here, so she was a pretty big botanist. She handled a lot of crops. So one of the things that he sent over was the plant indigo, which makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. We still use it today. Pretty big deal because we needed a new cash crop after our rice plantations went downhill. So Eliza was also the businesswoman who sold it overseas to make it a big deal for Charleston and to save all the colonies. So Charleston was going downhill and she saved it. She's done way more than what I'm telling you tonight. I'm just giving you enough for the devices that we're going to be using. So just like over there, I gave you guys some sample questions where you knew the answers. I'm going to give you some weird facts about Eliza that you're going to probably try to find the answers to, but I'm not going to give you the answers. So Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. She goes by her maiden name. I know, Chuck screwed that one up. Bad dude. So anyway, she goes by her maiden name, as does the first Eliza. So it's Eliza blank Pinckney. Try to find out what those blanks are from either the first or the second, because sometimes the first wife likes to come through too. just an interesting, weird thing. Not often. Try to go after the Eliza that planted the indigo, but the first wife will kind of chime in from time to time and say, I'm here too. So they had 4 kids. Only one of them was a daughter. You can try to find out what the daughter's name was. You can try to find out where the mansion is and what happened to it. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death, and I actually learned a new fact this morning. You can ask how old she was, where she died, what she died from, where is she buried, all of those things. But you can also ask which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. She actually had a president at her funeral. So, I know, interesting stuff. I see those eyes moving. She's thinking of the time period. Who would it be?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, again, very interesting stuff. And I just found that little nugget out this morning. Nugget, chicky nuggies for everyone. This is an interesting lie. Because the other spirit boxes and the questions I just gave you are going to be going after Eliza, I am going to probably going after Thomas. Thomas is one of the sons, and his birthday was yesterday, and he was very active with me this last night. So, just interesting that his birthday came up. The other interesting thing about last night's story, I didn't tell you this. London doesn't always go through the data with me in the morning. So Thomas Pinckney fought in the Battle of Camden. So it wasn't a long battle. I think it was a one-day battle, and he got wounded. On the spirit box, the red one, the recording, actually said troubling with pain. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. And it was in this timestamp. But we also had a Thomas and his son Camden come to my tour last night. So the names matched up. How odd is that? On a new quarter moon at that. So, we are going to separate in this lot. We're going to stay in the confines. Your laser is not going to go on any vehicles, because some vehicles' alarm systems are sensitive to that.
Okay.
You're also going to try to keep it within the confines of the walls. So you want to keep it in the lot, not on businesses surrounding. Spirit boxes, you can go as loud as you want to in here. Look at that. So Katie, if you can turn around and hold that EMF up like you're going to take a selfie with it so we can all see it. That light blinking in the background doesn't always blink, and a lot of times when it does, it's in sync with that EMF meter. If you take a video of it and go frame by frame, it's within 2 frames of a pulse. So it is a crazy little weird fact that the activity happening here surges over to there. It wasn't blinking 2 nights ago, and last night it was really weak. So again, it's not always blinking even when it is on. So it just depends on the night. That's kind of my barometer of how much activity we're going to get. We're going to find something in here. It's almost a guarantee. We have 4 spirit boxes running. Let's see what we can capture. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, have some fun. I'm going to do my thing so you guys have some extra audio. I definitely want to see where the spirit boxes go, so I go in the opposite direction.
We're gonna go over here. It has like a box around it. Why does it have that box?
The box around what?
The
Oh,
light.
the light? Oh, it's like white outlines.
Yeah. Why is it?
I don't know.
But it doesn't even have it showing. Huh. Are you shooting anything?
Just like the floor and
The wall. The wall.
the buried here in her garden.
I don't know, that's what I'm wondering. I don't know what.
And I took people, remember? See, it's so much warmer over here. So like the ground is like 78 degrees over here, and back there is like 72. I think it's like boat.
Yeah. No.
That car looks so high. So what, a car is black?
Blue.
I guess maybe just left.
outline of it. Oh, you can't shoot the cars, huh?
I can't see the cars now.
Yeah.
What about over here? Because they said this was like the slave quarters.
Yeah. Slave quarters, maybe? Cold?
I got the chills.
Don't see much. Just normal stuff.
So if that was her house and that was the slave quarters and this was her
The garden.
garden.
Yeah. This is where something would be.
It's just significantly colder over here.
Yeah.
Like 72 degrees over there. It's like 80 degrees. And
Yeah.
over here it's like 72.
This is 77.
So you're 83.4. I don't feel like she would be buried here only because I feel like that's like a historical site. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
something that is,
Still here?
yeah.
Or monument of it?
What about at the front?
At the entrance?
Anything weird, guys?
No. Nothing weird yet.
Those spirit boxes are creepy. Those
Yeah.
voices that come through like.
Shoot the
What?
gate. I don't know. Shoot somewhere, and then I'm gonna. Well, I gotta.
What about like the bar? You see where I am now? 77 degrees. It's not significantly cold.
No, it's all the same. Yeah, nothing.
I'm just trying to like sleep for cold. It's hard to use this thing when you can't like touch cars or.
Yeah. I don't know. We're doing this corner.
Can you see them behind me in the?
No. Nope.
He said they were getting a bunch of stuff.
Well, this is where I think something would come up, but
He might be moving his truck. Let's go back here so you guys can hear how I do this. Since you guys are the only ones without a spirit box. So I went after Thomas because yesterday was his birthday. That's one of his sons. And he's the one who fought in the Battle of Camden. So I asked him, where on your body did you get shot? And I got the word knee. He did get shot in the leg. I just don't know which one, so I asked right or left. I didn't get an answer. But I did get the name Matthew come up, and they thought they heard the name Pat come up on theirs. So we have a middle name Matthew somewhere?
nope.
Okay. And I asked him as well, Cody. So, trying to think. Who do we want to go? Who do we want to talk to? Mom, Dad, or one of the kids?
Talk to mom.
Mom?
Why not?
So go to Eliza. Okay, so hey Eliza, I want you to tell me what was in your garden. Elsewhere. Okay, what was in your other garden, your crops? What did you handle? So I'll always try to connect that to whatever is happening in real time. So if it doesn't make sense, like that does, I'm not going to give you anything verifiable with that. But it just kind of probes me to ask the next question. So Eliza, what crops did you handle for your father and your family? It's as loud as it goes, too. Eliza, tell us about the crops that you handled.
One is like scary.
And again, when you play it forwards, it's hysterical. Like, because when you download it, like the guy who did, he has like all of these different ones, and he says it's a FM radio stations, like the Spirit Boxes, it's just backwards. I'm like, there's no music in there. Like, I hear the Diamonds Direct commercial every morning because it's on the Spirit Box. I don't hear that shit in here. I'm not hearing AC/DC songs through the rock station. Like, I just hear stuff. But that baked beans breakfast, like when that came through, that was clear as day. I've had Eliza's name come through clear as day here.
Wow.
Like I'd have all kinds of stuff with this app. So I just use, there's 2 of them running right now. What you're hearing is that reverse, and then we're obviously watching the screen. So when you hear it chirping, it just means that another word's gonna come through. Eliza, why don't you tell us how many children you had? Let's go with something simpler. Privacy. Okay, so we want to ask about your kids. There's a reason for that. I'll explain it later.
Okay.
So, Eliza, tell us what your maiden name was. I heard Jason, but that's not it. Eliza, what's your maiden name? We're talking 1700s, so kid to her is a goat. Eliza, what is your maiden name?
You try talking to kids then, or?
When I get privacy, I stay away from it.
Oh.
One of the kids didn't make it as an infant. Usually when I bring that up, everything stops throughout the night.
Oh.
Like it gets rough.
Wow.
It's like, stay away.
Yep. And one night she brought it up. So I had infant, and then the name of that infant come up. So I started asking questions. That night was dead. I was stretching to try to find evidence
Wow.
for that group. So
Yeah.
again, we're going to stop talking about it because she can hear us. So Eliza, I want you to tell us what your maiden name is. Eliza, tell us your maiden name. Third house. Rewind by 5 seconds.
It's because you're the skeptic, babe.
I know.
Nope. It's usually when they start coming through.
Really?
Wow.
It's like, I'm gonna prove to you.
Yep. Reveal. Alright, so it's basically telling me to give you the answers. So, we're going to go to the big reveal and group everybody up. Alright, let's group everybody together. That way we can talk about what we heard and caught and all kinds of mess. I got the word reveal, so that's telling me to kind of reveal the answers. So let's start with your spirit box. What did you guys hear with questions?
We asked Eliza how old she was when she died. We got 78.
Close. 70.
Okay.
Okay, what else did we get?
There wasn't a lot of talking.
Oh, what year she died? 78 might make sense. What did you guys hear on yours? Anything else extra? They switched devices, by the way. So,
Yeah, not really. Did you hear anything?
I mean, I just heard the word map.
Yeah.
a map, like
map.
M-A-P.
M-A-P, yeah.
Okay.
We heard the word tree.
We asked her how she died.
Okay, you got?
Tree,
No.
which doesn't make sense.
No, she died of cancer, breast cancer.
Yeah. 93.
93. Yeah, so what's that? All right, so answers to the questions that everybody now wants to know what president was. It was Washington. Washington was a pallbearer at her funeral. How cool is that? So I was super excited to find that out this morning. The house burned down up in that corner, second story of the Great Fire of 1861. So it would have been after Eliza's death, but it was still in the family. So Eliza died at the age of 70 from breast cancer in Philadelphia, and that's also where she's buried. She's not even buried here. The husband is buried here at St. Philip's, but she's buried up there. We're down. The daughter's name was Harriet. It's the only daughter she had. And then we also had the word privacy when we were asking about the kids. And the reason for that is because one of the infants didn't make it. So it was literally either days or weeks old. It just has the month and the year that the infant died. So it doesn't give me a cause of death or anything. But usually when that is brought up, all activity throughout the rest of your tour stops. So we're going to stop talking about that infant. So hopefully we catch more later. What else did I have you guys ask? Oh, the maiden names. The indigo Eliza was Eliza Lucas Pinckney. The first wife was Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So 2 L's as well. So very interesting, weird facts of things that actually, and I'm only giving you guys questions of answers I've gotten to except for the president. But I did hear the word president named, like through the reverse spirit box. And I think I told all of you I heard the word knee when I asked Thomas where he got shot in the Battle of Camden. So he did get shot in the leg. I didn't get a left or right answer out of him, but I will see if it was directly in the knee or not. I'll dive into that. So that was pretty cool to find out. All right, so we are actually going to walk up 4 blocks to Lodge Alley. So it's on East Bay Street. Your EMF is going to go crazy because of parking meters, so don't get excited. It's definitely a no laser zone on your end, just because it's a major street. Spirit boxes. I want you guys listening for names along the way. Names, they'll make sense when we get to Lodge Alley. So who was staying at Lodge Alley Inn? Wasn't somebody? You guys? So do you guys know any history about the place or why it's named Lodge Alley? Okay, so you guys don't know anything about it. I don't condone.
We've stayed there a lot, but.
Which room are you guys staying in? I'm not trying to hunt you down.
Right now we're in.
Don't know if I'm gonna be staying there again.
Right on the alley between on this side.
Because I think it's 304 in that location that has a haunting. Now I don't condone the hotel hauntings because none of them give me free rooms. So to verify what they are, but apparently it's room 304 that's haunted in that location.
Well, we can request it next time and call you.
Oh my gosh.
I'd love to come and do that. That's a podcast episode waiting to happen. Was that a few weeks ago?
Maybe.
We had a couple that actually were salesmen for Blue Green, which is what Lodge Alley is. Were you not on that tour?
No.
But anyway, they live downtown, and they used to be the salespeople for that particular inn. They gave me a ton of stories about some of the hotels around here, particularly the Lodge Alley Inn. I was like, again, I'm not in there with my tools. I'm not going to verify anything. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium. I'm not going to go with my Zach Bagans gut. Like, that's just not how this goes. I got one chuckle. Somebody knows who Zach Bagans is. So, but anyway, we're going to go up East Bay Street, check out this. Everybody got comfortable shoes because it is like weird brick cobblestone places. So you got flip-flops on. Yeah, you do too. All right, you guys will do good. All right, let's go up this way.
All right.
Better than my heels last night.
Yeah. Feels is not what's normal. A whole lot of nada.
I know. Feels like I'm walking around with a gun.
Oh, what? That's awesome.
They added.
Probably not required.
Might want to watch out when you turn. They like to ride the curves. Good time. We're waiting.
Oh, we're going the wrong way.
I wasn't trying to make ghosts.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna have more ghosts on this tour than we anticipated.
We don't make ghosts, we search for them.
He's like standing there with like his hand up, like
Black Lives Matter.
I don't know. Oh yeah.
Yep. Black Lives Matter.
Coach, I had the opportunity. I played great. You know, why am I sitting down?
Like anything that we capture in pictures, the EVPs or the video, like I just showed you earlier, I have an evidence folder on my Shows in the Cemetery Facebook page, and everything goes on. So you guys get it for your personal stuff, and then I copy it.
Find out who's the best husband. I appreciate that. How is the best husband? Who's the best dad?
But she knows what to do down here. And she, trust me, she'll be screaming if somebody tries to do anything.
Just leave.
She knows how to cook pretty good. I don't worry about that too often. Alright, you ready?
It doesn't seem too dangerous of a town though.
It can be.
Yeah?
We do have quite a few homeless up here.
Wow. We were walking around last night. We didn't see many at all.
There's quite a bit.
Yeah.
You won't see them usually out on a Friday or Saturday. When I'm out here Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
They're all over.
Well, we're from San Diego, and in downtown San Diego, they're like perched up
We're
in
talking
certain places.
Yeah.
thousands of them.
Yeah.
Probably got tent camps and all kinds
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that here. But I've sent London, I mean, I get all ages, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. Like if an older couple, like they went down to the water, and then the daughter came with me back to the car, but I had London stay with the old people, and they brought her back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
London's got her phone. I
Yeah.
know where she's at. See if something can verify. Excuse us. Nice beautiful creepy alley. Nice and still on these pictures. If you're not still without a flash, it will come up blurry. So the white doesn't let the analyze which trace of light that shouldn't be there. Alright, so I'm gonna line you guys up on the wall now that nobody's looking. Alright, so welcome to Lodge Alley, everybody. So this is actually one of the oldest streets we have in Charleston. Did we hear any names on those spirit boxes along the way? Nothing?
I thought I heard Philip, but I don't know.
Possibility. So when I say that this used to be an oldest street, it means people used to live here. It wasn't an alley back in the 1800s. So there were shotgun houses down here, and people lived down here. I have the full list of names of every person that's ever lived down here. So excuse us, guys. So the names that usually pop up, I usually get Benjamin and John. Those were 2 out of the 4 residents that lived here in 1801. It just so happens that they show up together. The name Thomas is on there somewhere several times with different last names, and Alex will pop up from time to time as well. So it's a very interesting alley. Obviously you can see the bricks on the ground. These are made of clay, they're handmade, hand-laid, and none of them are the same size or shape, nor are they spaced evenly. So I'm sure you guys all notice with your flip-flops on. So I go through a lot of shoes. I'm just saying that. We're walking down this alley 6 nights a week. But the Masons also used to meet down here. So the buildings that we're leaning on, these were not here. Obviously before it was a residential neighborhood with the shotgun houses, it was pretty wide open space. We still had the bricks here, but they did consider these people to be lower class. So they did do an archaeological dig, which is where I got that list of names from. They found some of their tools, some of their silverware, and little pieces of their clothing through there, which is how they were able to determine that this was lower class. So again, I told you guys about the cannonball back before. So the water's this way, peninsula skinnier, those buildings aren't there, which means low tide, the smell of it comes right through here. So again, lower class, upper class is not going to be putting up with that low tide smell, especially in a confined space. So, interesting alley. I have caught green orbs on photographs in here. That's why I asked Cody to take some pictures on the way in. He's also going to be the last one out in case I'm going this way. The green orb shows up in random places. I have video of it moving. It's crazy. Like, just weird stuff down here. I do get weird shadows with pictures that I have to analyze. I don't care how dark your pictures are. I'm going to keep lightening them up until I can see what I'm actually looking at, especially if I got an outline or a glimmer or something. So just take as many pictures as you want. At the end of this alley, if you look straight out through the neighborhood, you'll get a nice picture of St. Philip's steeple. So if you stick to the right, you can get it centered in between the 2 old buildings down there at the end. Weird video actually comes up here as well. I got the word seen. That's interesting. I'm about to tell you about some weird stuff we've seen before. And the word red. So, interesting. It's just coming up with all things that come up on a video. So your spirit boxes, we're listening for names. You can ask who lived here. And I also have a list of their occupations. So it comes up right next to their name. It's not a census list, so I don't know their age and all the history of these folks. It's just their first name, usually abbreviated. So like Thomas would be THOS, and then their last name, and then their occupation, and the year they lived here. That's it. That's all I got. That's all that came up on the list. So we are going to kind of walk through here slowly, and then we're going to check out the next alley. But definitely be listening to your spirit boxes in here to see what we come up with. And then we'll get some more pictures. Take as many pictures as you want to in here. I'll crop out people if I have to, because it's gorgeous down here. So, again, hotels behind me, I'm not going to condone the ghosts that they have, because they do that to lure people in. I'm actually giving you guys real evidence. It's a bit of a difference there. So, January, I'm going to be knocking on doors again for free rooms. We'll see what happens. What's that? Well, we only have one laser, so we'll be fine. She's not going to be able windows. These are houses at the end down here. So we're out. Nope. I think everybody's sober here tonight. I haven't heard any slurred words. We're all sober. The buzz is over? Is that what he said?
No, he said everybody's sober.
Oh, everybody's sober.
Yeah.
Until I go home. Until you go home.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're not surprised at the amount of people that I do get on this tour that are not sober.
I'm sure.
I've ended tours from people not being somewhat sober. Then I lose half the group, and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Well, see you later.
Cancellation policy is 24 hours. Have a good time drinking. I gotta eat too.
Yeah. What is this building?
What do you keep doing? I'm like a little thief.
I keep it in the front right here. I didn't even see her take it.
It's because you were
So
talking.
the EMF, I don't get much down here, so when I do get something, it's exciting. So, I do get a little bit by Magnolia's restaurant, but again, from the restaurant, they got electrical lines underneath the sidewalk. So the parking meters and all the crosswalks are underneath the sidewalk. And it is strong enough to reach your, at that height. I keep talking. How much you get angry? You guys have to shut me up every once in a while. I'll talk your ears off. How about you? You got that? Where's flag? Flag's down here. They are in the next alley.
Oh, that's... What is that? The building?
That's St. Philip's Steeple.
Okay.
When you get to the next one,
You
go
can always
by
tell
that.
where you're at by where is St. Philip's. It's the tallest steeple we have.
Okay.
And it is a little crooked from our earthquake.
Oh,
Just slightly.
yeah.
Not by much.
All these places that are now like parking lots.
Yeah.
We're talking about, I'm going to talk to these people, see if they'll let me start parking here. So it'd be kind of a great halfway point from the ending to here and to get to the beginning. So it's really hard to find parking meters every single time. But anyway, we're demonstrating. So we're about to go through Philadelphia Alley. As you can hear, this is a very popular spot. This is their big finale. I'm going to give you their 15-minute dramatics in about 5 minutes. So we're going to give you guys enough data just to cover what your spirit box is and what we're listening for. Let's go ahead and cut that down a little bit. Just so I don't feel like I'm shouting. I'm already shouting over him. Sometimes he has a megaphone, which I'm ready to turn him in even though I have that. So I don't have any competitors in town, not at all. So at any rate, this is Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Dueler's Alley, and before that it was called Cow Alley. So the word cow has been showing up a lot lately too. Moo Cow, yes, LC Moo Cow. That might be an Ohio thing. I don't think we have LC down here. Anybody from up north? Like way north?
Oh,
Like Borden Milk? Does that make sense to anybody? Yeah, sorry, that was their, I'm from Ohio. So she said Molly Moo Cow. And I was like, well, it used to be Elsie. But anyway, so Cow Alley, they called it that because this is where they kept the livestock for Charlestown. Obviously before it was Charlestown. So Charlestown, livestock was here. But everybody tells the story of when it was Dueler's Alley, because of course it's a duel and we all want to know about some kind of death. So, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd moved down here from Rhode Island, which you guys keep those initials in mind, RI from Rhode Island, because it comes up again later. It has a possibility of coming up on our spirit boxes. So, he was supposed to get married. His fiancée, Amanda, just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and the lawyer handling that money told her she's not getting married yet. Send the doctor away. I think he's just after your money. Sorry he's so loud. You're going to have it on your audio too. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. But anyway, so he moves down here to Charleston. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. That's a great tour that people are walking away from, just so you guys know. So anyway, set him up to be robbed and killed. And this guy walks by, his name is Ralph Isaacs, initials RI. He says, you don't want to stay here, let me take you somewhere else. Takes him to 59 Church Street, which is that way, same block of where the steeple is that you guys were just taking pictures of. So, he's really loud. Sorry, he's like throwing me off a little bit. So anyway, Ralph and the doctor became friends. The doctor's practice starts taking off. He's making lots of money, he's doing pretty well for himself, which means Amanda's going to be moving down soon. So he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. You can Google the Whistling Doctor of Charleston. This is the story you're going to get, but very long. So anyway, they used to go see plays, but the doctor made a whole lot more money, which means he's part of a different society in Charleston, so they had to sit in different seats. So it's kind of like going to see the movies with your friends, but you can't sit next to them because they make more money than you. Stupid. Now, they used to talk about these plays on the way home. One night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare. The doctor loves the new actress that's in town. Ralph does not. It turns into an argument and then an insult party on the doctor's fiancée. So now it's really heated up. They go their separate ways. Ralph is from Charleston, so he decides he's going to call the newspaper up and put a big ad in the paper about what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. He takes all of our money, he's not from here, he's too expensive, whatever he put in there. The doctor rebuttals with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley and settle this. So normally at a duel, what normally happens?
Somebody dies.
Somebody's dying, right? Technically, that's not always the case. It's normally a thing of bravery. So you show up and you're willing to take a bullet for what you're fighting over. A lot of times the bullets were shot into the ground. A lot of times. But normally when you think of a duel, somebody's going to die. If there was a death, they would go through their doorway right over here on the wall, through the courtyard, and then over to the cemetery, pre-dug grave, they drop the body, go celebrate the winner. So here's what happened with the doctor and Ralph's duel. They come down, they take the 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. Again, act of bravery. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to say, I'm willing to forgive. Ralph takes 2 shots below the knees on the doctor. I don't know where the 2 shots come from in the 1800s, but that's the story. They would have had to load that pistol pretty quickly. So at any rate, the doctor, he obviously didn't die. He drops. His friends pick him up, they carry him home, 59 Church Street, 1.5 miles from here, and he dies 10 days later. So the doctor couldn't heal himself. Now, they say as you walk through this alley, you can hear the whistles of the doctor. I only have a couple that I've not been able to debunk. And you're going to get the hecklers, there was a fake one. Yeah, there was a couple that just went by. We get a lot of those, because everybody down here knows the story. So there's a fake one for your audio. You want to turn it up at this point when I'm walking through. I am going to stay away from the spirit boxes so you guys have a much clearer audio. And you can hear those faint whistles. It'll probably be in a melody. You just never know what you're actually going to hear. A year and a half I've been doing this tour, I've only caught it maybe once or twice. I was like, oh, okay, that could be something. So again, this is where you're going to turn it up and try to find it. They also say you can hear gunshots, but I've never caught any gunshots. My 4th of July teams, they always want me to try to debunk what's going on with the fireworks. I'm like, no, I can't even get to touch it. Nugget of history.
Huh?
Yeah. So the bricks we're going to walk on the ground are going to get older as we walk along. These up here were refreshed in the 1990s, so they're going to be real sharp, nice and smooth. As we get to the end, we have sun-dried bricks from slave kids, which means they turn those bricks every hour because they're not fired bricks. We have their fingerprints, and we have 1 full handprint at the end. So I'll start to show those off. If you want pictures of that, have your cameras ready because it is outside somebody's home. Again, we're going to respect the living and the dead. So we don't want to be hanging outside this dude's dining room while we're trying to take pictures of his handprint. Now I will tell you that the handprint, the thumb part goes into the next brick. So I really want you to think about that for a second. That kid had to put that brick in wet and then slam his hand into it afterwards, almost as kind of a, screw you, I don't want to do this anymore. It was a statement. So if you really think about what you're looking at, the finger swipes that I'm going to show you, you could tell they're like somebody's fingers went through the clay of the bricks. But this kid's handprint, that was intentional. You could see it. So again, you have the camera if you want to take a picture of it. Anybody wants their cell phone to take a picture of it, by all means. But we're going to go through this alley all the way to the end. If you guys want to check out the death gate, go to the right, but I'm going to move to the left. So that way you guys can check out the gate. London usually goes that way for me, so she'll show it off. If you guys want pictures of that. I don't normally get activity out of it.
I was just
Again,
gonna ask.
the cemetery, the dude's already dead. So it's kind of the same principle of, it's the dead guy walking through. So it's his grave. It would be more so in the alley where he died, if that makes more sense. So I don't normally get anything from that gate. Same thing with the handprint. You're not even going to get an EMF spike off that handprint. Weird story, now that I have your all attention. At the end of this alley a few weeks ago, I'm walking with a small group. It was supposed to rain, so it was only like 4 people. So I get down and I smell like this weird smell. It smells like a fruit to me. I'm like, this is really weird. I didn't say anything to my group, but then they caught up to me and they're like, oh, I smell passion fruit. I'm like, it's weird. I smell grapefruit. So we argued about it. We tried to find where it was strongest. It moved around a little bit. The word pie comes up on my spirit box word list. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The next morning, I start diving into all of the words, and I'm like, I'm really curious about grapefruit pie. Wouldn't you know it, Southern Living actually has a lost recipe from Charleston about grapefruit pie. Like, you've got to be kidding me. That sounds disgusting. Who the hell is going to eat grapefruit pie out of the oven? It's so gross.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. So, did it really?
Mm-hmm.
Answer her?
Yes.
Who has a question for me? I'm not answering any questions. Okay. We did get Amanda show up here last night, just so you guys know. That was the fiance.
Maybe Amanda has a question.
Maybe she does. We'll see what she does. Alright, so we're going to do the creepy sound effect with the gate too, so you guys have that on your audio.
Yeah, Amanda has a question. Okay.
That's the creepiest thing you guys are gonna hear all night. Oh, and I got the word screw, so I wonder if that's just making the noise.
This stuff was here last night, but it wasn't open. So, but the wall is original, but the gate is not.
And what's through there?
That's the cemetery?
That's how they got through and buried people. But now it's a playground for children for a playground area.
So is there still dead bodies over there?
I think they moved them.
Okay.
So let's hope kids aren't playing over top of dead bodies.
Yeah.
But true. Never know.
Even though I can't remember names. I'm so bad with it. I can't remember my own characters. When I'm working on a book now and I switched the antagonist's name 6 times and my teacher keeps telling me, like, when are you going to find a name for this guy? Because I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, I switched it again. Well, it's between Dominic and Derek. So
well, you could make him like a quadrupolar.
Well, the funny thing is he's actually me in the book. He's a paranormal investigator that takes people ghost hunting. That's his job.
Wow. That's cool.
So again, the whole point of the book is I'm turning Atlantis into part of the afterlife, and there's communication that goes back and forth,
Oh,
and it has to be stopped. So that's the whole premise of the book.
The food that was here last night
I
is eaten.
was telling
Gorgeous
one
from somebody homeless.
she's got like a sixth sense since
Well,
I've ever known
the
her.
reason why I asked why you guys went up to that corner of the Pinckney Mansion site, and I usually say I want to see where you guys go, that's the hot spot that I always go to because I get the most activity there, with the spirit boxes at least. So I wait to see if somebody's going to be drawn to it, and if somebody is, then I go in the opposite direction and follow up later and see what you guys got and why did you go there.
Yeah. That would be her.
I've been wandering for another minute.
Yeah.
Go rain or in. But this is probably one of the most beautiful places we have in
Your hands
Charleston.
are
I've never seen it before.
It's gorgeous down here.
You see something?
No.
Oh.
I had my hand over
I
it.
blow that up on my TV or my computer screen in the morning when I'm watching it. Especially if somebody says they saw something, it definitely goes to the TV. Because I upload it to YouTube and then transfer it back to my website. So that way you guys can watch it on a YouTube channel. And then I just keep them in playlists so I know which month it is and label it. You guys will see how I name the files.
Yeah.
So everything's by date and time. So, but yeah, if you don't see anything tonight, I watch it again in the morning anyway. I just need a cameraman. I don't need an expert. I'm the expert.
Yeah.
That's why you guys buy tickets. Alright, let's go rein Kitty in and let's see if we can cut through this tours of group down here. Because they're pretty large. She's got like 30 people in there, I think.
Dang, I don't want to come in.
It's okay, we're going to get stuff along the way too. She's got the recordable one, so
Is
keep
there
track.
like smoke coming up here?
I'm a vape.
Oh.
I'm a vape. I hate to say vapor because then it sounds like raper. I vape. Vape,
Okay.
vape.
Gotcha.
Smoke.
We're going. Yeah, we're going this way. We're going some way. One to come up.
Yeah, we're going to cut through this large group over here as a group.
Okay.
Sorry, I seen a marketing opportunity.
Grow taller. You should be telling me to.
You're 3 foot nothing.
I meant to grow taller. Also on 4'11".
Like that. Light. Breaking down from the light. Weird.
area.
So Joseph's friend becoming very jealous put a very hard strain on their relationship as friends. At some point they weren't really on great terms because Joseph, no matter how hard he tried to show his friend that he didn't feel the way he was trying to show, his friend didn't accept that.
This is cooler than just listening to the stories. Yeah. Kind of get the double action. Yeah.
See some of the fingerprints? So they're all through here, and then the handprints at the very end.
See?
Oh, yeah. I think it's upside. Yeah. Said those are the fingerprints sliding through. Yeah, like there too. Yeah. You would have never saw that. That is doing something.
Oh, come on. No, they're still right there. I can see them. Let's go.
I feel bad.
Where's the handprint one?
Right here. See?
Huh?
This guy? See the handprint?
No. Oh yeah,
It's this way.
it's this way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Another one.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's a big one, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they went this way. I was like, I don't know which way they went.
Oh. Sped walk down the.
Oh, this is where we walked last night.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
You lose some?
Nope.
No, we were just low.
Okay, there's no bars back there, right?
Nope.
We're looking at the handprint.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, one last building we're going to check out, guys. It's the big brick building over here, catty corner from us. That is the Wagner building. It used to be part of our cotton industry. It's condos now in the back, and they're turning the front into a wedding reception area. So whoever's getting married there, I don't know what the dynamic is in the group, but it will be cursed. Good luck. So, and it's also going to be considered waterfront. So, because it will have a rooftop floor that they will use as part of the wedding reception area that you can rent. We'll see where this tour is going. He's going straight. Some of these guys have been doing tours like 20 years. You can just tell which ones are which. So at any rate, so the Wagner building, cotton industry, was a warehouse, and the offices for that warehouse were in the front. The last guy who had it as a cotton warehouse, his name was George Poirier. Now George, he inherited this business from his dad who died. He was clueless on what he was doing, blew through his inheritance, got himself into a bunch of debt really, really fast. We also had the boll weevil in town, which is a bug that eats cotton. So now the crops that he has are bunk, they're garbage. So he doesn't sell it to the Americans to get out of the business, he sells it to the British to get out of the business. They give him a lower rate, he can't pay off all of his debts, but he takes it anyway. So ship rolls up, again, Charleston much skinnier, he can see the ship come up. It's basically where the Bendu is now. They unload by horse and buggy back here on these really cool garage doors that you guys see. And he's watching the whole thing from the second story in the front. Once the whole ship is loaded with all of his crops, somebody gets too close with a pipe. The whole ship catches fire. Everybody dies. George watches the whole thing. Now, George, already depressed because his father was gone and he's in debt, his father's legacy is now gone. So he piles up all the furniture with a captain's chair on the top, climbs the mountain of furniture, swings a noose, and hangs himself. It was the newspaper kid that found him the next morning when he came down to the corner to sell his papers. He had to go back to the press room to go tell him what happened. They say you could see the shadow of a swinging corpse from the windows where he hung himself. Here's the thing. Your camera does not see through windows, right? So what we're looking for is those blue glass panes to turn either a darker blue or black. That means something is influencing it from the inside of the window. Does that make sense? So that's what I'm looking for. When he's giving me a nice slow sweep along that, we're also going to do an experiment with your thermal gun. Now, see, everybody take a look at the peak in the back here. We have a nice cool night, no breeze. So there's a stone that covers that peak in the front of the building, and then there's the same type of stone inlaid into the brick about 5 feet below it. At times, when the spirit boxes are heavy with activity along the way and up there, there's a 30 to 35 degree difference between those two stones, and there shouldn't be. I would expect a 7 to 12 degree, just based off some of the breeze from the water. I've been watching the weather all night to see if there's been a breeze. We all have a little bit of sweat on our brow, so it's not breezy. That's what we're looking for. If it goes above 20 degrees, I'm going to be excited. I would expect 7 to 12, maybe 15, but 20, I'm going to be stoked. So we're going to test that out with your red dot. We get another ghost that gets attached to us over here as well. Same time period where we came out of Philadelphia Alley, 2 blocks up is, 2 blocks up is, got the word depressed. Just told you guys George hung himself.
Got
And
the number 15.
15. That might actually be related to Zoe. I'll have to look up her date.
The letter.
Okay. Okay, so it wasn't that. Anyway, so Zoe from Poogan's Porch is the ghost that will come attached to us down here as well. So it's the same time period as George, and she died in the house by falling down the stairs. She was a school teacher, and her sister Elizabeth lived there. So sometimes we get the name Elizabeth, we get stairs. You can ask Zoe what the house looks like now. You'll get the color yellow. Restaurant is a very strong word to come through on my spirit box, so you might hear words like spoon, fork, eat, table, things that wrap around a restaurant. With George, it's going to be fire, cotton, chip, insect, workers, depressed, obviously, those kind of terms. So again, this is really just a listen as we come across, because we never know who's going to show up. I'm going to lead the way. Your EMF is going to be irrelevant when we get to the front because of the parking meters again. So you're kind of out of the game. Pictures galore when we get to the second of the front of that building. And it starts with the rounded edge. So when you see the rounded edge, maybe you want to cross the street to get us some good pictures. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. Sometimes people do it, sometimes they don't. But we definitely, and I don't care how dark they are, I'm going to lighten them up, just like I said before. I'm just going to keep lightening them until I actually see the shadows that are moving around in there. See if they're actually relevant. But with you, it's nice slow sweeps, and it's along that rounded edge, and then the first 2 windows going in.
Okay.
So even if you want to go across the street straight to get a good footage, you can as well. So we'll spend a good 5-8 minutes up there, see what we hear in our spirit boxes. I'll start collecting things, and you guys can start asking me a million questions.
All right.
Any questions so far? 15 again? How are you hearing that?
No idea. I just keep listening.
Wow. So there's got to be something relevant with 15. If you heard it twice, usually when something comes up twice, it means something. So if she heard it again, we'll see what comes up out of yours. No. She was a lady.
Code for McDonald's, and I saw that in the
Oh, maybe the 15. Oh, interesting. I didn't think of it that way. I'm thinking year.
Aren't you supposed to shoot that up there or no?
Not yet.
Oh.
Gotta do it on the brick in the front.
Oh, in the front?
Yeah.
Oh.
Loads onto that shit.
I'll do this thing.
Alright, let's take a look at your laser. You see the white stone at the very, very top? I want you to shoot that with your gun. Yep. Go back up. Right there, what do you got? Okay, I go down to the half moon shape.
So you just
Right there?
And like, I really like think that it's 71, 70.
Okay, so that was about right. So about, what did I say?
12.
7 to 12, so we got 9.
Yeah, now it's saying 59.7 for the top part.
So you definitely want to be on the second story. So it's going to be these two windows right here.
Oh, on the second floor.
And Cody, did you get us some pictures?
I did, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right there.
I didn't hear anything along the way. I'm definitely going to dive into number 15 to see what's going on with that. It's definitely something.
We got 15 seconds.
Huh?
Yes, before this car comes.
The speaker working out? What did you hear? You just had a weird look on your face. I mean, you were able to hear things all night. Was the volume something you could work with? Because
Yeah.
the other one was really bad. Like it was super low. Even though it didn't matter how full it was charged, it was definitely somebody had to listen to it close to their ear. And I know that one will go much louder.
Not sure.
Okay. Alright, you got us some good footage there. Got the windows. POIRIER. One video?
One video.
You're the man. You're not a jerk.
Yeah.